welcome to another amazing tutorial. Today we are going to learn how to create this levitation fantasy photo manipulation in Photoshop. So let's get started. So first of all, we are going to prepare the background. So for background, we are taking one this image and second one this image. So let me bring this image over to this by clicking and dragging it over here. And let me just press Control. Let me just convert it into the smart object. So I can right click and select convert to smart object, and now I can press Control T, Command T, place it in the center and resize it to the way I want it. So maybe something like this, and press enter, and I'm going to create a layer mask over here, and using the gradient tool with black to transparent gradient and linear style, which is over here, I am going to click and drag it down, and it's going to take away this area from the visibility. Okay, so I will create something like this, and I have kept the opacity very low, around 20%. That's why I have to paint number of times, and I want to remove it from the bottom as well. So I'll click and drag it upside, and that would also take away it from the bottom, and then we will be having some kind of this kind of a result. And let's refine it. So we'll take the brush tool with soft as brush, which you can see over here, with zero hardness. Let me bring it to zero hardness and opacity around, let's say, okay, let me just do it, opacity around 20%. Okay, and with the black color over here, I'm going to paint in on this area, okay, so that it gets refined little bit. And I have to switch between white and black depending on the result I want. So if I want to show this part of the image, then I have to use the white color, and if I want to hide this part of the image, then I need to use the black color. Okay, and now we have got this kind of a result. And now let's create one blank layer above it, and now we are going to take a sample from this area, and again with the soft as brush with 20% opacity, we are going to paint in. So this is the technique of painting the fog or snow, okay, or the mist, you can call that mist as well. Okay, you can use the smog brushes as well for this, but here I'm using only the simple soft as brush. Okay, and let that also become little fadey or foggy or faded. Okay, and now we have got this kind of a result. And now I'm going to create a stamp copy of all of this. So I'll press Ctrl Alt Shift E and go to the adjustment layer and select this color balance adjustment layer, and now I'm going to give it a look or the color grade it the way I want it. Okay, so you can play with all these sliders. Here we have the options to play with the shadows, midtone and the highlights. All right, and then you can come out with your own liking. Okay, so I want it to be a little bit towards the greener side, so I'm going to give it that kind of a color grading. Okay, you can choose however the way you want it, so you can adjust all these sliders to get the result you want. All right, and now we have got it, and now it's time to bring in the model. So this is the model, and now I need to extract it. So for extracting, I will use the quick selection tool over here, which you can have the access by clicking over here, or you can simply press W on your keyboard. And now I'm going to paint in to make a selection of the girl, and you can paint, keep on painting to include the area into the selection. And if you somehow spill the selection, then what you can do, you can press Alt and then you can paint on that area, and that way it is going to take away it from that selection. And again back and make a selection, and since it has hairs, so we need to be little bit more careful with this, so it will take little bit time. So for that purpose, what I will do, I will make a quick selection and extract it, and I will come back. And you know that for extracting, what you need to do, you need to go over here on this option, select and mask, and then you can make the selection. Okay, so let me just quickly do it and come back. Alright, I have now extracted this lady from the background and I have placed it over here, and now I will press Ctrl T to have the access to transform tool, and I'm going to resize it to something like this because I want her to be smaller. Okay, and I'm going to press enter, and I think the position is right. And now we need to add some lighting on this girl so that it matches with the background. As you can see right now over here, we have the light source over here. So for that purpose, what we are going to do, we are going to create a new adjustment layer, and that would be the brightness and contrast. And I'm going to bring down the brightness to something like this, and I'm going to check this clipping mask option, and that way it is going to affect only this lady. Okay, and now you can see we have made her darker, and we'll select this layer mask over here, and again we'll choose the brush tool with the soft as brush with 0 hardness, and make sure the mode is normal and opacity around 10%. Okay, and we'll zoom in, and with the white color this time, or black color this time, we are going to paint on the edges. And what will happen, it is going to remove this darkness or this layers effect from this area wherever we are going to paint in. And let's increase the opacity to 40% so that we will be having more light on this side, and will randomly paint on different parts of the image. And we have to make this area darker, lighter, because light is coming from that side. And with the smaller opacity or lower opacity, we can paint on other part of the dress. Okay, and let's create one more adjustment layer, that is the again brightness and contrast, and this time we are going to increase the brightness, and again we are going to click on this clipping mask icon and select the mask, and with the brush tool this time what we are going to do, we'll press Ctrl I or Command I to make it darker. And now with the white color this time we are going to paint in on this area. Okay, so this area becomes more bright than the rest of the one. And if you feel you need more brightness, you can increase the brightness once again with the help of this adjustment slider. And now let's select this lady layer, and then go to the filter and select camera raw filter, and first press auto, and it's going to make it too bright, so lower down the exposure a little bit and take the temperature towards the blue and towards the tint towards the greener side. Okay, and let's increase its saturation a little bit, and I think this is fine, so we'll press OK and let's see what we get. And now we have got this kind of a result. Alright, this is looking good, and we need to refine a little bit from this side as well, so we are going to paint in over here so that this area also becomes a little bright. Okay, and let's bring out some details. So we'll go back on this layer, lady layer, and we'll just double click it, and this time we'll bring down the highlight and increase the shadows. So what will happen, it's going to give us more details in the image. Or let's add the highlight and increase the clarity a little bit. Okay, and we'll press OK, and let's see what result we get. Okay, we get this kind of a result, and I think I like the previous one, so I'll Control Z to undo it. And what we can do, we'll come over here and we'll select another blank layer, create another blank layer, and this time we'll press Control back or Shift backspace, and from this drop down menu we'll select the 50% gray and we'll press OK. Change layer blend mode to overlay, and we'll come select the dose tool, and we are going to paint again on this part of the lady. Okay, so for that purpose we need to make it as clipping mask. So for that purpose we'll press Alt or Option and click on this layer, so that way it is going to affect only these layers. Okay, and now we can paint in and make these area much brighter, because light is coming from that side, so this has to be more bright. That's why I'm doing it. Okay, and paint wherever you want the details. So okay, so on the under the layer or under the dress over here, and randomly do it, and on the legs as well, make them bright as well. Okay, and now it looks fine to me. You can see the result by turning it on and off. And now let's add some lighting, some mystical lighting on this lady. So for that purpose we will create a new blank layer, and we are going to fill this layer with different colors. So we'll go to the edit, select fill, and from this drop down menu we'll select the color, and let's fill it with the black color, or let's say white color. Okay, and press OK. It is going to fill it with the white color. Then go to the filter and select the render and select difference clouds, and it's going to, okay, let me undo it. It has given us this ugly color looking clouds which we don't want, so we need to press Ctrl D over here, and then we'll go again filter and render, and this time difference clouds. So we'll be having the black to white, black and white clouds like a background. And now we'll right click and convert it to the smart object, and then we'll go to the filter, blur, and choose the radial blur. And from these options make sure you choose the zoom and increase the amount, and take this center point to the top, or maybe on this side, because light source is on the top left. Okay, and we'll press OK, and it's going to take a little bit time to create the result we want. like this. And then what we are going to do, we are going to go to filter once again, blur, and choose motion blur, and take this angle to something like this and increase the size. Maybe something like this, and press OK. And now change the layer blend mode to, let's say, soft light. Yes, soft light is looking much better. You can see the result by turning it on and off, or you can try the lighten. Lighten is not looking good, so let's change it to screen. Screen is too bright, so I think overlay or the soft light is looking good. So I think both are the similar, so I'll go for the soft light. And what I'm going to do, I will select a layer mask over here, and again with the softest brush with little opacity or small opacity or lower opacity, with the black color I'm going to paint in over here, so that it takes away the light from rest of the area. Okay, and this one is looking good. And now we need to add some, I think, different lighting over here. So for that purpose, we'll come down, and over here we'll create a new layer, and this time let's try the orange hue. So I'll take the orange color and change layer blend mode to hard light, and with the 100% opacity, make it 100%. Let's paint in over here, and we get this kind of a result. Let's try the linear dose. Linear dose makes it white. I don't want white, so let's go for vivid light. Yeah, vivid light is also looking good. Or let's go for the hard light. Okay, let's go for the hard light and press Ctrl T, and let's make it something like this. Alright, so that way what we are basically doing, we are spreading this light everywhere. So let's place it over here and press enter, and now we get this kind of a result. And let's create one vignette effect on this image. So we'll go over here and select the gradient, and from this gradient option we'll select the black to transparent gradient. We'll press OK, change the layer style to the radial, and check the reverse and place the center to something like this, and scale it until we get this kind of a result, and press OK. Try to change this layer blend mode to overlay. Yes, overlay is looking good. You can see we got bright colors and all of this. And as you can see over here, we have these mountains. These are very sharp, so we need to make them little bit blurry, because that way we can give it a realism. Okay, so we'll come over here and we'll turn off all the layers which are above it. So we are going to turn them off and create a stamp copy over here. So we'll press Ctrl Alt Shift E, and it's going to create a stamp copy of all the layers. Just a minute, I think I forgot to turn off all these, so I need to turn them as well. And then again Ctrl Alt Shift E or Command Option Shift E, and now we'll go to the filter, select blur, and choose the Gaussian blur. So we'll choose the small radius of something like this, and we'll press OK. And now we are going to turn all the layers back. Okay, and now we have got this kind of a result. And now let's add little bit birds or some small birds on the top. So I will search for the birds new, and let me place these birds, and let me make them smaller and place them over here. Press enter, and I think I placed them on the bottom, so let me drag it up, and change this layer blend mode to darken, and that way we will be able to see only the dark areas. And take the brush tool and create a layer mask and remove this blue color or the blue sky from the image. And let's refine it a little bit further. So for that purpose, what we can do, we'll create an adjustment layer, or what we can do, we can press Ctrl U, and that would open up the hue and saturation dialog, and from this drop down menu we'll select the blue color. So we'll select the blue color and bring down the saturation of the blue color, and we'll make it light, and let's change its hue to something like this. So we'll press OK, and now again press Ctrl L to open up the levels option, and let's see what we can do. So we'll move this slider towards this side and let this one here. Okay, and let's press convert this to smart object. So I have a shortcut keyboard command I have created for this. So now we have got these birds over here, and let's make them little less visible. So for that purpose, we'll lower down its opacity to something like this, and now you can see. And let's press Alt and drag them over here once again. So we'll be having more of these birds. Okay, and finally we'll create one curves adjustment, and we'll click on the shadow area, drag it down, and from the click once to create one another point and drag it up, and that way we'll be having more colors and contrast. So that's the little S curve which we can create over here. Okay, and over here you can see now we don't have the shadow of this lady. So for that purpose, what we are going to do, will come over here on this lady and create a layer under it, blank layer, and again with the brush tool with soft edge brush and with the black color with 10% opacity, we are going to paint in some shadows. Okay, so it has to be something like this, so that it appears that when she is going up, her shadow is falling on the ground. Okay, so you can make it this way, and you can see the result by turning it on and off, and now we have got some realism. And shadow has to fall on this side because light is coming from this side now, so it has to match to the reality. Alright, and now I'm going to sharpen this image finally. So I'll press Ctrl Alt Shift E to create a stamp copy or the merge copy of all the layers, and zoom in, and then we'll go to the filter and select sharpen and select unsharp mask, and let's choose the amount something like this. Let's zoom in to see the result. Yes, that's fine, and we'll press OK, and it's going to apply the sharpening. So we have sharpened it little bit, and now this is our final result. So thank you so much. I hope you have learned something useful from this tutorial, and if you like today's episode, please do let me know in the comment section below, and if you have any question, please leave your questions as well in the comment section below. So thank you so much. Bye bye. See you in the next episode.